Good weekend to you. Welcome to Leading Edge. I'm Jerry Anderson. Hope you're doing well this weekend. We start with the bombshell announcement out of Washington, D.C. this week that affects certainly all of us here in Ohio and more broadly Republican politics in this country. Senator Rob Portman, Republican, Ohio, says he's out or will be, choosing to retire rather than seek re-election to a third term next year in 2022. Senator Portman, of course, had served in the White House of George W. Bush, the Director of Office of Management and Budget was his title. He has served 2 terms on the U.S. Senate, where he is seen as a moderate, although he did vote with President Donald Trump some 89% of the time. You'll hear more about that on the program today. But one time when he did not vote with the president was the night of January 6th, following the attack on the U.S. Capitol. The senator did not vote to object to the certification of the state's electors, which made Joe Biden president. So, Senator, how much pressure did any member of the administration put on you to object? As 6 of your colleagues did anybody ever suggest, either implied or expressed, that not voting the president's way would earn you a primary challenge next year?
No. It's interesting. I never heard from the president. I never felt any pressure from anybody at the White House. In fact, I think in some respects just the opposite. I think they respected my point of view, even if they disagreed with it, because mine was based on the Constitution, and I felt pretty strongly about it. I will say, Jerry, I also laid out my view on that very early on. On November 23rd, I issued a statement that I know you got that said, yes, the president has the right to the recounts. He has the right to take these lawsuits. But once the Electoral College has been certified, that's it. So my position wasn't a surprise to anybody when, more than a month later, we had this vote on January 6th. I'd staked out my position several weeks before that.
You trumpet, Senator, and I appreciate this, your bipartisan record. You call America, and I quote from your statement, an increasingly polarized country, end of quote, implying we need more bipartisanship, and yet you're walking away at a time a country really needs people like you. I find that inconsistent, isn't it?
Well, I've been at this a long time, off and on for 30 years in public service, and I've been doing the commute. We've always kept our home in Ohio, and that's where my wife lives, and my kids and I and my wife are looking forward to me being home full-time in Ohio. So that's part of my reasoning. It's very personal, and also got a family business in Ohio I haven't been able to attend to much, and there's lots I'd like to do still in terms of the private sector and also, in the nonprofit sector. I was involved last time in anti-drug efforts, including being on the board of the coalition that I founded, and I was on the Nature Conservancy National Board and other things. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think that's, a place where I can make contributions to our country and even to the political world without being in the Senate. You don't have to be here. In some respects, more is going on outside of Washington than inside of Washington these days.
You think impeaching former President Trump is unconstitutional based on your vote, and yet you say, I'm going to quote here, he bears some responsibility for what occurred, end quote, back on January 6th. We're talking about the insurrection. Giving him a pass seems to be the Republican standard of the past 4 years, and it's why some folks see you all as enablers, yourselves, therefore, at least partially responsible for the attack on the Capitol. That's got us smart, doesn't it?
Well, as you know, I've been very clear on my views, not just on that, but even the run-up to it. I said back in September, long before the election, when the president tweeted about, the transfer of power, that we needed to have in our country, under our democracy, a peaceful transfer of power based on the election results. And then again, once the election occurred, I said as soon as the state's certified, that's it. And so I've been very clear about that, and I have also been very clear about the president's comments and actions on January 6th and thereafter, including saying most recently on Fox News, which may not have been the right forum for it, but that it was inexcusable. And I've said that he does bear some responsibility. So I've been very clear about it. I don't know exactly what you mean in terms of enable, but I don't think that's enabling when you are clear about your position on it, and that's what I've been. The question on the constitutionality, I'm going to listen to both sides that I've said. I'm a juror. I'm going to hear arguments pro and con. But I encourage, your viewers to look at the Constitution themselves. There's not that many words about impeachment, and all of them talk about removal. This president has been removed from office, in effect, by the voters. And so he's a private citizen now. And we have never obviously impeached or convicted a former president once he's out of office. And so that's a constitutional issue, but it's also just a practical concern that many of us, I think, have about the precedent that would set. And I certainly wouldn't want Republicans to do the same to Barack Obama or Bill Clinton, as an example.
U.S. Senator Rob Portman, my guest. We're going to continue our conversation right after this on Leading Edge.